And what is up, everybody? Jeremy here, back again, and I'm excited to let you know that we are coming at you with the ultimate shipbuilding merge, glitched, snap sharing point guide, whatever you want to call it. It has so many different names. Take number 2. This is number 2 of this guide because we did one like several months ago, and now it's outdated because now we've learned some flip glitches and duplication, well, certain glitches that allows you to help you build your ship faster. And we've also discovered some brand new techniques that could help you expand your creativity to completely new dimensions, because we're basically showing you how to set up new grids on your ship. That's right, different snap point grids on your ship. And yes, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as everything does help out. But first, let's give you a quick little rundown of what we are doing in this video today. We're going to show you the flip and variation glitch. We're going to show you 2 different versions of this glitch. Number 1, we're going to show you how to snap modules to open and available snap points where the module is clipping another part of the ship. Number 2, we're going to show you how to snap modules through the flip or variation glitch to occupied snap points. That's right, they're already occupied, they're already taken. Guess what? There is a way for you to move ship modules to those points anyway. After that, we're going to show you the duplication glitch. We're going to show you 3 different versions of this glitch. We're going to show you the standard duplication glitch, which allows you to snap modules to open and available snapping points where the modules are clipping another part of the ship. We're going to show you the duplication buddy glitch with a connected module, all right? And then we're going to show you the duplication buddy glitch using a floating buddy stack. And this can allow you to move any module if it doesn't have a flip or variation. I'll talk to you about these these modules in a bit too, more details. But yeah, this allows you to move anything, anywhere on the ship, on the ship. And then as a bonus with this duplication glitch, I'm going to show you how to merge weapons easily together to the same weapon snapping point or weapon mount. Weapon snapping point mount, whatever. Next up, fractional glitches. This allows you to set up modules at fractional steps off the grid, and this allows you to form brand new grids. Special thanks to Rick Hammer for showing this to me. I'm going to show you some things that I learned, and what I'm going to do is show you how to set up fractional steps off the grid in the x-axis. That's up and down. All right, up and down. We're going to show you how to set modules in different snapping fractional steps off the grid on the y-axis. That's left to right. And then we're going to show you how to set ship modules at fractional steps on the z-axis. That's back to front. So that is a quick overview of what I'm going to show you in this video today. Let's start up with our first glitch, the flip and variation glitch. I used to treat these as different glitches. It's the same process for both of these. So I put it together as the flip and variation glitch. So what are the rules here? 1, you need to have the module already in the work area. All right, so, well, I'm going to show you what the remember. The first version I'm going to show you right here for the flip and variation glitch, I'm going to snap a module to an open and available snap point where the module is clipping another part of the ship. You see, if I bring it to the snap point, it's clipping both the cockpit and this Hope-Tech thruster. All right, now let's talk about the rules. Number 1, you already need to have the module in the work area. You have it placed. Like if I try to duplicate this module and I try to move it in, go through the process, it disappears. So if an example, if I duplicate this, make sure you place it in the work area first. Now that this is placed, I can move it in. All right, so that is rule number 1. Rule number 2, you need to have a free and available snapping point for you to snap this to. All right, this one's free. Rule number 3, this module needs to have either different orientations when you're swapping through the flips, or different orientations when you're swapping through the variations. All right, there you go. So this piece has both the flips and both the variations. Some pieces have either or, and some pieces have none. And that's why we have different types of glitches available for you. All right, And is there like a fourth one? I think that's it, right? Those are the three. I feel like I had four, but that's it. Snap, yeah. All right. I think we're good. So, on keyboard and mouse, I'm gonna bring it over. I'm gonna go through the flip option of this first. I'm gonna bring it over. Tap Z once. Tap Z twice. So basically, you're just going through the swaps. So if I bring it in here and swap it just once, you just need to swap through the flips to get it to the orientation that you want it to be. All right. And some pieces have more orientations through the flips or the swaps than others. So yeah, just swap it to the orientation you want, then cancel the movement by tapping either escape or tab. Double click the ship and you can see it's connected. All right. So on the keyboard, I am tapping Z to flip. Now for the variation, I'm going to tap on a keyboard. I'm going to swap through 1, 2, 3 different variations on this one, or just an example. I can bring it in like this. Just swap through once, get to the orientation I want, cancel the movement by tapping either escape or tab, double click the rest of the ship, and you see it's there. Let's do this with the controller. Now with the flips. Let's start with the flips. I'm going to select the module by tapping A. I'm going to bring it over, tap Y to flip it to the and swap through the flips and go to the one I want. Then cancel the movement by tapping B. Then select the rest of the ship by tapping LB. You can see it's in there. Let's do it again with, this time, through the variations. Select the module, bring it in. Tap the directional pad to go through the different variations. Tap B to cancel it, and it's in there. All right. Let's talk about some things you can do with this glitch, or things to be aware of. All right, some different things to be aware of. I'm gonna bring in this Deimos hole. Yeah, bring a Deimos hole. I'm gonna move this up here. Things to be aware of. Modules, or when you're going through any kind of flip or whatever glitch, a module likes to move to a free and available snapping point. Move this up here. That's where I want it to be. All right. So let's say I bring this in, and I activate or start swapping. I'm going to start swapping through the flips, and you notice how it moved up. It moved up one snap point. All right. And I try to hit Z to keep on swapping through the flips. It's not moving back down. And of course, if I hit cancel, it's up there now. So two methods for you to avoid this, or like maybe three, I don't know, but maybe you need to have this piece here. All right, whatever it is, maybe you need to have that piece here. So this piece, the Nova Cowling, also has variation. So instead of going through the flips, I'm going to go through the variations instead. And notice how it stayed down. It stayed down at the point where I wanted it to be. All right. Another option for you. I'm just going to cover up that snap point on the Hoptech pipes, and then I could bring it down and just stick with the flips. All right. And I guess the other option is just make sure you have nothing that can swap to or connect to, and it'll stay there. So those are some options. So if you ever run in a place where, all right, flip glitch, you're not sticking to the place where I want you to be, well then try either the variation glitch or maybe move the piece that it's trying to move to, or whatever. So yeah, you have different options here. So that is your standard flip and variation glitch. Let me show you another thing you could do. So I'm going to show you a quick daisy chain method. So you can use a floating module to activate your flip glitch. All right, so these two are floating right here. And let me just move these pieces out. All right, that's good. So what I did to kind of bridge this section together was I moved in a piece that covers 2 points, right? Covers two, I guess, what? two spaces in the grid. Yeah. So this Deimos bumper covers up to 2 spaces in the grid. So I'm gonna move it in. And then I'm going to move in this horizon weapon mount. It already has 2 Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors attached to it. All right. So I move that in. And then I slide this across. So I just want to make sure that this module is in the correct position in the grid. Then I brought in this porthole. Then I remove this piece. So these are still in the correct position. All right. So I move it in. Does a check. All right. They're still good. Now what I'm going to do is move it in this Deimos bumper. All right. Double click, you see that it's connected to the porthole. Perfect. Then I'm going to move it in this Deimos wing, and then I'm going to use the flip glitch. And now all these pieces are connected together. And then as another piece, so just using these pieces that cover like 2 spots, and I kind like think of the Deimos wing as like, I don't know, like a skeleton piece that's like inside these other 2 pieces and holding it together. All right, so bring in the Deimos bumper, flip glitch that one in, double click, and now it's connected to the ship. Gonna bring in this Nova Cowling. So yeah, so that's how you're able to daisy chain like pieces together that cover up at least 2 spots and like cap it off with like a single spot module. But yeah, able to daisy chain things across. Then I'm gonna bring in this Nova Cowling, flip glitch that one in. You can see that everything's connected. So yes, you can use floating modules, and that just requires some planning. It's like, okay, if I want this out here, I know that I have to take these steps to get it in, get these pieces in, and set up the build that I want. So some planning. So I just can't, it's like I can't build it out this way. I kind of have to work it this direction and then work yourself back in. But now I have this piece. I can't use a standard flip or variation glitch to move this in. So like if I do this, you see it's not connected, right? I can't, it's not snapping to anything. It's just not snapping to anything. So this is where the flip and variation glitch to an already occupied and unavailable snapping point is needed. All right, so this is the second variation of the flip and variation glitch, or the second version. We're going to snap this to a closed and occupied snapping point, or bring this to a closed and occupied snapping point. So what you do here is like if I try to drop it in, I can't just drop it in, right? I can't drop it. I can drop it in anywhere else in the work area, but this is technically illegal. But if I bring it in and either swap through the flips or swap through the variations, cancel the movement, it stays in place. So if I click the rest of the ship, it's still not connected to the ship, but you can see it's still there. So that's all you're doing with the flip and variation glitch in this process. So yes. So yeah, rules are, once again, you need to have the module art in your work area. You need to have flips or variations, and then just bring it in as close to the spot you can, flip it or go through the variations, cancel the movement by tapping escape or tab, and I'm flipping it by tapping Z, or going through the variations by clicking on the arrow key on the keyboard. Bring it in as close as you can, cancel the movement by tapping either escape or tab, double click the rest of the ship. Alright, this is the next part. Hit spacebar with your cursor above any of the highlighted areas. It moves the ship to the unattached module. All right, and this is perfect for any time, like, and this happens when you ship build, like a piece might randomly get unattached. All right, if it does, just double click the rest of the ship, hit spacebar, it'll move the ship to that unattached piece. Once you do that, hit either spacebar or enter again to accept the movement, and now that piece is in there. All right, so that's how you use the flip or variation glitch to move a piece to an already occupied and unavailable snap point. All right, let's show you how to do that with controller. So I'm going to select this piece by tapping A, bring it in, flip the module or swap the module. So with the flip, I'm tapping Y. With the variation, I'm just tapping the arrow or directional pad, tapping on the directional pad. Then I'm going to cancel the movement by tapping B. All right, select the rest of the ship by either double tapping RB, or you could just tap LB. Then hit A to move the rest of the ship to that module. Let things turn green. Then tap A again, accept the movement, and it's in there. Yes, it is. Cool. And that is how you use the flip or variation glitch to move a module to an already occupied and unavailable snapping point. So there it is, everybody. Those are your 2 versions of flip and variation glitch. Let's talk about duplication glitches. Yeah, let's talk about them. Duplication glitch. So I'm going to move this piece right here. So let's talk about this one. What I want to do is move this Magellan C2 cockpit in a spot, but this cockpit is clipping the shipbed 200 landing bay. All right, so that's technically legal. So the rules for the standard duplication glitch. So this is going to work with a duplication glitch first. The first version is going to be the standard duplication glitch. With this glitch, the rules are 1, you need to be able to duplicate the module at the star yard that you are at. I'm currently at the landing pad of a shipbuilder, so I can duplicate the Magellan as many times as I want, because this piece can be purchased at this star yard. Now these two pieces, Exterminator 95 MEV Auto Helen Beam, I purchased this at Stroud Eklund, so I can't duplicate this. So I'm holding control on my keyboard. I can either undo or redo, but I don't have the option to duplicate. But I have 2 pieces here. So if I delete one, and I hit control over this weapon, the Exterminator 95 MEV Auto Helen Beam, as you can see down here, I have the option to undo, redo, or duplicate. So I'm going to duplicate it, but once I duplicate it, I can't duplicate any more of them, because that's how many of these pieces I have during this current session in the ship customization builder. All right, so yes, you are limited if you're bringing in pieces from other star yards, and you're good as long as you don't stop building. Right? If I delete it once again, I can still duplicate. Oops, I duplicated the Nova Calling at the same time. But yeah, you get the idea. I can duplicate this only one more time because I only brought 2 of these in this current customization session. So back to the cockpit. 1, you need to be able to duplicate the module that at the star yard you're currently at. 2, you need to have a free and available snapping point. And 3, you need to line this module to that piece. I mean, I guess maybe if I can get like really close, maybe I can do it. Let me see. No, I can't. So I'm hitting duplicate. It's not duplicating to where I want it to be. So I need to have a helper. And I'm going to bring in the Deimos companionway because the cockpits can only attach 2 halves. All right. So I'm going to bring it to the companionway. I'll select the module, or highlight the module by having the cursor over it, or you can click on it on the keyboard, hit Control G. It's going to duplicate to that spot. All right. So other thing you need to consider. So it's in there. It's in there now, right? It's in there. So I duplicated that cockpit. So things you need to consider. Let's see if this happens. Once again, pieces like to move to an available snapping point first. So if I use this duplication glitch and I have a snapping point on top and one on the bottom, there's a good chance it can move up or down. If I hit Control G, it moved down first, right? So let's say that, you know what? I didn't want it to move down. I wanted it to move up. Well, that's fine, because now this piece, this part right here, is now occupied. Once it's occupied, the only available snapping point between these 3 points is the one up top. So it will duplicate up. So yeah, just as a note, if you see that you're duplicating something to the wrong spot, oh, it moved to a snap point that I didn't want it to. Well, now that snapping point is closed, well, it only has one option to go to now. That means it'll probably duplicate down. All right, so that is your standard duplication glitch. Let's talk about the duplication buddy glitch with a connected module. So what I'm trying to do here, and maybe, let me see, maybe this is the best way to do it. I don't know. We'll find out. But essentially, you're trying to line things up to where you want it to be. I'm going to bring in, like, this is like the Stroud Engine Bracer or the Hope Tech Riser. These are great pieces because, like, let's say you have like a module that swings across this way, or you're doing some glitches and you're swinging across. This Hope Tech Riser doesn't take up much space, so it's a great place. Like, all right, I want to use this as a spacer to help me line things up for an upcoming glitch. So I'm just doing that. I'm bringing this over here, and I bring this over. I'll just leave this here. All right. So this is a duplication buddy glitch with a connected module. So I'm using the same concept as the duplication glitch, but yeah, what I'm doing is setting this up, and I'm just setting up the pieces that I want, right? Because I want this Hope Tech pipes to move over here. But let me, as an example, just another example, let me use something that doesn't have flips or variations. So let's bring in the Deimos hole A. Hey, Deimos hole A. This does not have any flips or variations to it, so the only way I can glitch this into place is through a duplication glitch. All right. So I'm moving this here. I want to have this Deimos hole in this spot, but there's a slim docker in that spot, so I just can't move it in. All right. So what I'm going to use is this buddy. All right, this connected module, and if I, as example, if I just select the Deimos hole and try to duplicate it, well, it duplicated down. Well, damn. Oh, I know why. I know why it duplicated down. So this might not be the best example. So it's using itself. It's using itself. So let's bring in another concept. Here, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this here. Here, I'll keep this here. All right, there you go. Boom. All right. So now, oh, this is not gonna work. It's gonna duplicate anyway. So okay, the reason why it's duplicating because it's using the free and available snapping point underneath itself, and there's nothing like I forgot that this piece, it doesn't have a top snapping point. All right, so this is what I need to do. All right, so I'm just gonna cancel, cancel, cancel. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'll move these pieces out of the way. Oh, there's a bet. Okay. Can you see it all right? Let me find another module that's more visual or more easily viewed. Oh, here you go. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's a good planning, Jeremy. You're doing awesome. Great planning. All right, this is what I'm gonna do. Bracer, and then so this doesn't have any flips or variations. It has a snapping point on all of its sides. And then on top of that, I'm going to bring in a Hope Tech radiator. Here, here we go. This is perfect. All right, so I try to duplicate it. It's not going to duplicate down. All right, the bottom snapping point on this module is occupied. There's nothing I can go to. Cool. I'm going to move in this Nova cowling. So what I'm going to do here is this is called the duplication buddy glitch with a connected module. So this module, I want it to be placed there, and what I'm gonna do is select both of these. So I'm gonna, what I'm doing is holding Shift and click and drag to select both of these modules. So that's how I select both of them at the same time. And what I'm doing here is that on top of the White Dwarf 3015 engine, there's a free and available snapping point. So what I'm doing is, since I'm selecting both of these, I'm using the free and available snapping point where this Nova cowling will attach to help move the Hope Tech radiator down with it. All right. So my cursor is above the highlighted areas. So yeah, I can't duplicate if my cursor is not on top of this. All right. So I hit Control G. It duplicates both of those modules down at the same time. So that's one method to help you move modules into an already occupied snapping point. All right, so this Hope Tech radiator, it doesn't have any flips. It doesn't have any variations. The only way it can move down is through a duplication glitch, or move it to a spot is through a duplication glitch. Let's show you how to do that with a controller. So I'm going to select these modules by tapping RB on both of them. All right, so that's the difference. Make sure my cursor is above this, so I can't duplicate unless my cursor is above one of the highlighted pieces. And then I tap Y to duplicate it, and then tap A to accept the movement. Tap LB, you can see it's in there. There you go. So that's how you do the duplication buddy glitch with a connected module. All right. Now I'm going to show you how to use the duplication glitch with a floating buddy stack. So this is what I call the buddy glitch using a floating stack. Same rules apply. You need to be able to duplicate any of the modules that you're duplicating. And for the floating buddy stack, you need to have modules that have a top and bottom snapping point. All right. So let's bring in, what was I doing? I was doing this, right? Yeah, I was going to do this. Yeah, let's do this. So I'm going to bring this in. So I have 3 engines that I want to duplicate. Or how should I do this? Let's move this in first. Let's talk about something interesting here too. This SF40 sheared flow reactor has snap points on all sides except for the bottom, back, and top. Alright, so I have these modules here. I'm going to bring this R4000 alpha grav drive down below, connect it to the Nova Galactic. So I'm basically trying to line it up, or help line up other pieces to duplicate itself into there. I'm going to duplicate one of these, move it to the side. And since this piece doesn't have top or bottom snapping points, I could use the standard duplication glitch to move it up. And what it's doing, it's duplicating, it's using the free and available snapping point on the top side of this alpha grav drive to move up since it's available. And I'm going to move it up again. Alright? I'm going to delete the R4000 alpha grav drive on the bottom here and delete the one on the bottom of the shear flow reactor, that bottom piece. Then I'm going to move this 500 HE3 tank, line it up, standard duplication glitch up, and there it is. So once it's up there, I can't duplicate it up anymore because you have the R4000 alpha grav drive on top of it. Alright, let's line up these pieces. Okay, so duplication buddy glitch with a floating module. So what I want to do is move this piece up one. Alright, that's where I want the engine to be. And here, as an example, we're just going to have one floating buddy. Just so you could show, so we can show you what happens. I want to move it up one snapping point, one grid point up. So I'm going to select the White Dwarf 3015 engine and shift-click drag to select the Deimos hole A, Control G. Alright, perfect. It duplicated up first. And make sure you don't move your mouse, because if you move your mouse, it moves things off position and it turns red. So yeah, don't move your cursor. Accept the movement by tapping either spacebar or enter. Okay, so that worked. That's fine. Let's see if it does the same thing on the top one. Now this piece, I want to move it down. So I'm going to select the White Dwarf 3015 engine, shift-click drag the Deimos hole A, Control G. It moved up. Okay, it moved up. That's fine. That means these snapping points are now covered. So what I'm going to do is select the White Dwarf 3015 engine, which has both the bottom and top snapping points for covered. All right. So this one has nowhere to go. And then I'm going to select the bottom module in this Deimos hole A. And the free and available snapping point between these two modules will be the Deimos, or the snapping point on the Deimos hole A on the bottom. So it only has one direction to go, which is down. If I hit Control G, it duplicated down, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I'm going to do it twice because I think I have 3 of these engines in there. Boom. Oh, I moved my cursor. Yeah. Hands off the cursor. Duplicate it down. Accept it. Double click the rest of the ship, and everything is good. There you go. So that is your standard duplication glitch. So yeah, when I have my floating buddy stack, I usually put 2 in there anyway. And the reason is because, like, well, if I want to force it one direction, I want to force it down, then that's what I want to do. So like, if I want to force another one down, I'd usually just put a module up top and one, and then select the module, select 2 modules where the only direction it can go is down. So that's how I work it. And notice how once one of these pieces are not attached, that's fine, because we like, that can happen, right? So what you do is double click the rest of the ship, hit spacebar or A on the controller, and then let the ship move itself to that module, then hit either spacebar, enter, or A on the controller again, double click, and everything's good. Alright, one more piece to move in there. I mean, I could use the flip glitch, but there's a module, or there's a free and available snapping point on the top, so I'm just gonna move it in here. And this only has one snapping point on the bottom, so I'm just gonna select this. Oh, let me show you how to do it in controller. Let me show you how to do it in controller. So I'm gonna select the module by tapping RB, and then RB on the Deimos hole. All right. Make sure your cursor is above one of the highlighted items. Tap Y to duplicate it down. Then accept the movement by tapping A. Select LB. Make sure everything's connected. I think it is. but it's kind of hidden. So let me see. So I'm going to double click the rest of the ship, move it. All right, it's in there. Perfect. Delete the module up top, and there it is, guys. Those are your standard duplication glitches. Or your standard, those are your duplication glitches. We did the standard duplication glitch, the duplication buddy glitch with a connected module, and a duplication buddy glitch using a floating buddy stack. Now let's show you how to do the duplication buddy glitch to merge weapons to a single, or to multiple weapons to a single mounting weapon mount. Snapping point. Let me repeat myself. Let's show you how to merge multiple weapons to a single weapon mount. There it is. So I'm going to bring out the Deimos Spine C. There you go. So I'm just going to use the Vanguard Obliterator Objectors. And what I want to do is I want to merge 2 Vanguard Obliterator Objectors in these spots. Okay? And use the duplication buddy glitch to help me out here. So what I'm going to do is move this up once so that's floating, and then I would just duplicate it, those floating pieces down again, and that way you can have multiple weapons there. So what I'm going to do on the keyboard is shift-click drag to select both of these weapons, and then shift-click drag to highlight the Deimos Hold A. Make sure your cursor is above one of the highlighted items and hit Control G, and oh, what happened? It didn't go straight up. It moved. All right, once again, just as an example, modules like to move to the closest free and available snapping point there is to it. So for these weapons, the closest available snapping point will be this spot right here. So a good way to counteract that is just cover it. Cover it with something. If I select these pieces now and do the duplication glitch, it moves up, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want it to do. So yeah, these are specifically one snapping point or one spot up in the grid so that it is perfectly aligned to move yourself back down. So I'm going to select these guys by shift-click dragging and shift-click drag the bottom one so that the only available snapping point for any of these modules to go down to will be the piece right here, the snapping point right there. Control G on the keyboard, everything moved down one. Oops, I moved my mouse. Hands off. Accept the movement. All right, there you go. Now you have multiple weapons in the same spot. Nice. Let's put in, okay, so there's 2 in there right now. Cool. So let's put in 6. I'm going to show you how to do this on controller. Select the weapon module by tapping RB. Select the bottom module there by tapping RB. Tap Y to duplicate down. Tap A to accept it. And now you should have 1, 2, 3 in that same spot. And there should be, oops, 1, 2, 3 in that spot too. So that's how you merge multiple weapons in the same spot. One thing I like to do here, because it looks like they fit together. One thing I like to do too is like take the PBO-175 auto Helion beams, and these 2 are still floating, right? And I duplicate this down into the same spot. And you can see it looks like the Vanguard Obliterator Projector just fits in right in the middle of the PBO-175 auto Helion beam. So I like that. It looks cool. But yeah, everybody. All right, so that should end the duplication glitches that we wanted to show you. So multiple examples of what you can do. I mean, I've seen this thing done. Let's see here. Let's say that I want to have, like, I've seen people, like, what they did was they maybe they want to do this or something. I don't know. This is a bad example. Whatever. So like maybe they wanted to move this Nova Bracer close to the ship. And they did this. They duplicate. Okay, duplicate up, down first. That's fine. Now duplicate it up, and then they double click the ship and hit spacebar and move. So it's another means to help you move pieces close to the ship. All right. You could use the duplication glitch, and you're just trying to say, I just want this piece to move close to the point where I want it to. So if you're doing that, that means you don't have to get the exact alignment. So maybe maybe you're using the buddy version of this. I'm gonna duplicate this twice. Well, actually, I technically don't need to. I could just keep on duplicating to the point where I want it to be, right? So that's another option for you too. You can move things that way just to get a module to the spot you want. You just keep on duplicating it to the spot you want, double click the rest of the ship, and move the ship to that module. So that's another option for you if you want, like, as another tool for you to help you build your ship. But there you go, everybody. Those are all your duplication glitches. Let's talk about the crazy stuff, the fractional glitches. Let's cancel this. Let's move over to this guy. So this part right here, we're going to show you how to set up a fractional step in the x-axis. So I'm going to show you how to do this with the well, this is called, I call this the cloud runner. But I duplicated the ship so I can just show you these little tutorials, little guide. But yeah, as you can see, this Stroud nose cap D on the left, this is currently on the grid as is. The one on the right is about 1/3 step down off the grid, and it's currently in a legal spot. So the premise for all these fractional glitches is going to be this. All right, what you're trying to do is you're trying to merge or bridge two pieces together through a weapon mount using a weapon. So let me see. I think this is the one this is the one I first learned. That was first shared to me by Rick Hammer. So what you're doing here, I want to bridge this Nova Wing and to a equipment plate. All right, and this equipment plate will be attached to a different module, any module right here. So let's say it's going to be the Deimos Hole. All right, that's the example. That's what I want it to do. Or maybe the better example will probably be just for this purpose of this guide. Maybe the module I want, cause I like this one. It's going to be a Stroud Cap B because it has a flip. All right, the Deimos Hole, it doesn't have a flip. And to do that, right? So this is what I want to have happen. Because like this piece is about a half step down. So how I'm gonna do this? Well, this is how. The premise is Nova Wing to a weapon, which I'm gonna use Vanguard Obliterated Object Ejector. I like to use that because you can use 6 of them. Like you need 6 to get a full weapon loadout on this weapon. And then I want to use the Vanguard Obliterated Object Ejector as a bridge to connect to the equipment plate, because these weapons can share multiple weapon mount points. And that can only happen for weapons. If you use like a special module that attaches to a weapon mount, it doesn't work the same way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this weapon, use a duplication buddy glitch to move it up one slot. Oh, see, look at that. Once again, it likes to move to a free and available snapping point first. Now let's move it up. So now that piece is covered, it's moved up. All right. So then I delete this guy, and what I want to do is bring this equipment plate up. And the funny thing is, if you just try to move it in, it doesn't like it. It's like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want any. I don't want any. All right, fine. So the best way to do that is attach the equipment plate directly to the weapon. So I'm going to hit Control. I'm going to hit G on the keyboard, and then select the equipment plate. All right. And before I move on, let me show you how to do it on controller. Because let me just undo. Yeah. Before I move on, show you how you can do a controller, because this is not in the manual or in the directions anywhere. I don't know how the person figured this out, but what you do is you hold both of the triggers, so that's LT and RT. Hold both of those, and then tap A. And then you can add a module directly to the weapon and the equipment plate. All right, so that's what you want to do. So this is, and what we're doing through this method is we're doing a 1/3 drop. So I'm going to select this, select the bottom module here, duplicate it down. So now all these pieces are now connected. All right, the wing, the weapon, and the equipment plate are connected. I'm going to delete this Vanguard Obliterate Auto Projector, and then I'm going to move this in. See how it's snapping to the shroud cap or the equipment plate. Flip once, flip twice. So I'm using the flip glitch. Double click, and all these pieces are in there. And that's how you do a 1/3 drop. And I'm going to show you more examples, but yeah, we'll start with a 1/3 drop. Let's show you how it's done, how I did it in this example here. So I'm going to move this out. Move these out. Move that out too. Okay. So in this example, I'm skipping some steps, but just show you the piece where it worked out. So I'm going to bring in Nova Wing. I'm going to bring in the PBO-175 Auto Helen Beam. I'm going to duplicate the PBO-175 Auto Helen Beam because I want to cover this weapon spot right here because I need to duplicate it up once. So I'm going to grab myself a Deimos Fold A. Sure, Deimos Fold A is fine. I'm going to duplicate this up once. Ooh. Lucky me. I didn't, usually I put 2 there. So just as a common best practices, you probably want to just put 2 in the buddy stack already. So you make sure that you force it the way you want to. Then add your equipment plate. Okay. I added duplicate the plate, and fortunately this piece can duplicate or can flip. All right. Delete these pieces, no longer needed. Select the equipment plate and weapon. So I just double click on it, or on the controller, you just hit LB. Let me see, if I just hit A, does it select both? No, it doesn't. All right, so, but if I hit A on the equipment plate, okay, I see it, it moved it. Yeah, so make sure you select both of them. LB on the controller, or double click on your mouse, and then duplicate this one down. All right, so now that's 1/3 step in. Bring it in. So this is might be a little bit tricky part. So this, yeah, okay. So see what happened? When I flipped it, it moved to this spot right here, Nova Wing. Let's see, but that's fine. All right, so if I want to just use the flip glitch, I would cover that piece up, bring it in, flip it once, flip it twice. It stayed in the same level. Hit tab or escape the movement by tapping, or cancel the movement by tapping escape or tab. Double click, and everything's in there. So that's one way you can do it. All right. Show you multiple options. Say I didn't have that piece covered there, and oh, it moved up once. Okay, but guess what? That equipment plate is a free and available snapping point. So I can just use the standard duplication glitch and move to the closest available snapping point to it, which is that equipment plate with a free and available snapping point on the bottom of it. Accept the movement, and there you go. So that is a 1/3 drop right there. Let's play around, move a little bit more. Let me see if I can get these guys in. I'll just move this in, just to be there. So yeah, this has a flip. This happens all the time. So a good example. Oh, it flipped up. But guess what? I can use the standard duplication glitch because these HopeTech pipes has a free and available snapping point in the front of them. So I'm just duplicate it and duplicate it down. Perfect. All right, so just more examples you can go through. Let's talk about moving these pieces about a half step down the x-axis. To do this, I am going to duplicate one more of these guys. So this is the piece I want to move up. No, let's use a different piece. Let's use the Nova Bracer. Show differentiation. All right, I'm going to grab one of these guys. I don't need to grab one of these guys. I can just get a Nova or Horizon weapon mount. All right, attach a weapon to it. Any weapon you want, because this is temporary. So I'm going to select the weapon, shift click drag to select the Nova Bracer, duplicate it down, and it's going to duplicate to the closest available snapping point between those two different modules I selected. And the closest one was this weapon mount spot for the cannon to duplicate itself to. And doing that, it moved the Nova Bracer about a half step down. It's not exactly a half step down. I wish it was, but it's not. Okay, so that's there. Now let's say I want to connect it to the rest of the ship. So just imagine these three modules is a whole entire ship. Okay, show you that example. What I'm going to do up here is I'm going to attach an equipment plate. I'm going to attach, and this one you need to use one of the weapons that you're going to put or set up on your ship. So I'm going to use the Vanguard Obliterator Auto Projector. And then I'm going to bring out a Nova Wing. Nova Wing. Nova Wing. There it is. Okay? So there you go. Double click this. All that's connected. Bring in the Nova Wing. Flip it once. You flip glitch it in. Double click. And it's in there. Now this whole thing is connected. So that's how you're able to set up additional grids. I'm still using the Nova Wing as a key component. And notice, look, this is the interesting part. This equipment plate is definitely further down, but it's still attached to the weapon, and the weapon still attaches to the Nova Wing, even though it's a little bit lower. On this example here, let me just break this up again. If we examine the equipment plate, notice how much higher it is. Right? But it's still good. So there is some give to how far these pieces are mounting to the weapon. Right? So this one, it's pretty much inside the Nova Wing. Right? It's clipping the Nova Wing. This one, it's like on top of the mount of the Nova Wing. And that's about, yeah, I'd say that's about 1/3. This one's about 1/2. It's not exactly 1/2. And I wish it was. But yes, let me see here. Let me move this out. Let me duplicate one of these guys. Because this has a nice little line. Yeah, see that line right there? So yeah, you can see that it's not exactly in the middle. Okay. So let's say that, all right, I have the Nova Wing up top. What if I want it on the bottom? All right, you can. So here's how you do it. So what I did here was I put in a porthole first. So I kind of want to hide the Nova Wing. So what I'm going to do is put in a porthole. If I can find the porthole. There, it's at the top. All right. Put the port. So yeah. The process was move. Let's go step by step. Oh no, it's fine. We already we already did the half step drop. All right, put the port on the bottom. Then you can move this guy out. Right, you move it out. Just move it out. That's fine. It's fine. Move in an equipment plate. Okay. Bring in your weapon, and then bring in the wing. Flip glitch that one in. And then go back to your weapon mount. And drop this guy a half step down. Double click, and it's there. So that's if you want to, alright, I'd rather hide this Nova Wing. I'd rather hide this connection piece, this connector piece. You can definitely do that. Right? And if I say, alright, let me and I can use this duplication buddy glitch, and I'm using this guy as my buddy stack. It moved up. Of course it moved up. Move down. Of course it moved down only a half step. So yeah, it's connecting itself to the closest available snap point, right? Let me see. Is this all connected? Yeah. So that's one way to hide something. Let me see. figure something out. So I wonder, can I just do a duplicate? Alright, you could just duplicate, standard duplicate. Alright, so it moved it up, but it also moved one down, and that's a per position for it. But there's a free and available snapping point underneath the Deimos hole right now. So if I duplicate it down, or, okay, I duplicate it up. Oh, it doesn't want to, oh, it's not free. What am I thinking? That's right, it's connected here. Okay, so yeah. Standard duplication glitch. If you want to just, alright, I have this one piece that's in the middle, or half step down, and you can set up new grids that way. But if I want to put another module that's at, then let me see. Let's do this. Alright, so like standard duplication glitch, cover those spots, and then duplication buddy glitch moves a whole step down. Cool, delete these pieces, double click. Alright, so yeah, a lot of, they're just showing you, just playing around, giving you some different options, like, alright, what if I want to do this? What if I want to do this? What if I want to do that? Here's another thing that I did in one of my builds. What if I have this half step, but what if I want to get back to the normal grid? So I have these other pieces in a half step, in a fractional position. What if I want to get back to normal, right? So this is a hard part, and it took me a while to figure this out. But what I did was I had to have, because like what would happen is if you try to get back to normal, right? It'll just try to snap back to the original spot. So what I did was, and this is a key component, key module to help you with this. It's going to be the Shroud Cap B. And the reason why is because you can flip it. Alright, so with this, you want to have it aligned with the grid. That's one key part you need to have going on right there. And what you need to do is cover up this piece. Cover up this, the snapping point with something, anything. Right, because if you try to bring it in, like, okay, this piece is back on the grid, and if I bring it here, it's gonna just, oh, it's snapped to the to the grid where it's half step up. So cover it up. So go ahead, just cover up that snapping point, and then bring it in here. So, and this is something you need to eyeball. Alright, so I want it back on the grid. I want it be like right there. Or here's another option for you. You can just like, alright, let me set you up. Let me set you up. Alright, if you have the luxury and space to do this, I mean, some pieces are like, alright, you're already in a bad spot. So yeah, if I don't cover that spot, will it still, okay, so maybe this could work too. So you can set up the support pieces so that it locks into the correct spot, or you eyeball it, right? Or you can just eyeball it. Like I think in the build that I kind of did this, I had to eyeball it. Alright. So bring it in as close as it can be. Flip it in place. Or maybe I did something where it's like, it's clipping too. So, alright, maybe I want to clip it a little bit. Who knows? But, yeah, that's the idea. That way, or that way. Whatever you choose. Okay. Then what I did was I brought in the equipment plate, brought in a weapon, alright, and brought in a Nova wing. I wanted to duplicate the other Nova wing, but it's hidden right now. Alright, so bring that in, flip glitch that one in. Alright, if I delete these pieces now, there it is. So now this piece is back on the grid. So let's say like maybe I'm doing like Deimos wings across to help bridge this thing across. And then what I wanted at here, because this is the reason why I needed to get it back on the grid exactly, is because I wanted to put landing gear on that spot. And landing gear needs to line up exactly where it needs to be, or it's not going to work. Right? It needs to line up with the ground exactly. So unfortunately, doing this half step drop is not exactly a half step. So that's the only thing. that you need to worry about. So there you go, everybody. So hopefully that gives you some ideas, some thoughts on how to set up a fractional, half-step fractional on the x-axis. Whew, a lot going on there. Cool. Let's talk about the y-axis, so left to right. So as you can see here, this piece, this side is on the grid, this piece is off the grid. And I put in this piece because the only reason I put this piece is to hold it in place for what, example purposes. Is that the phrase? For practical purposes, I had this here for, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I had all these pieces here, and then what I wanted to do was bring it in. As you can see, it's not gonna behave. So I had these pieces. That's what I did. And that's how I set up a fractional on the y-axis and get that into place. And then I built off from there. I think I just did a bunch of these, try to line these up. I think I started that last. Oh, I know what I did. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Just continue. But yeah, the idea is you're using something in the middle to help you get a half step or a fractional. It doesn't have to be a half step here, but something in between. So in this build, I wanted to have a little gap. I didn't want to bring it all the way, so I used a fractional at about, what, 1/3 on the y-axis on both sides. So let's show you how to do that. Let's start fresh. Let's start with the pieces that we need. So I'm going to start off with a Deimos hole. Then we're going to work off of this guy. What I'm going to do is then bring in a Nova wing. Nova wing. To the ends. There you go. Okay. So this is the key piece. One of the key pieces, once again, bring in my Vanguard Obliterator Object Projector. And what I'm doing here is I am going to eyeball a horizon weapon mount. Alright, so the horizon weapon mount, it has 2 weapon mounts here, right here, but it also has a standard module connector snapping point on that side. So what I'm going to do is bring this in the middle. Okay, first I'm going to close off the snapping point there so it doesn't interfere. And what I want to do is get this in the middle, and you just need to eyeball it. So I guess that's good right there. Flip it. Alright, now that's in place. Then I could just bring in, let's bring in Nova Cowling. Alright, Nova Cowling, bring it in one side. Double click, and there you go. So that piece is pretty much close to half. I mean, and you could keep on fine-tuning it as much as you want, but it's close to half. It's not exactly. If it's half, it would be like right there, right? But anyway, so it's close to half, and then we just kind of set up a new grid that way. So I'm using the free available snapping points on the Nova Cowling here. Just line it up. So now you have a new grid in the middle, and you can start building off of that, which is exactly what I did here on this ship. So yeah, you can start building off from there. Yep. And that's all you did. So yeah, that's one way to do it. So for this example, we didn't have that spacer. What I did in that example, right, I took this grid. This is a crazy one. So what I like to do, that's not gonna work. Yeah, you just have to eyeball it again. I mean, maybe you can choose a weapon that's more visible or doesn't have like this offset, because like this weapon has this offset right here. You can't really see fully through it. But anyway, still all good. So I think it just needs to be close. So let me see if I do that. Is it still connected? Yeah, it's still connected. It's still, this horizon web mount is still getting connected to the Vanguard Obliterator object detector. Like an example, if I try to move the Vanguard Obliterator object detector, if I try to move this out, if I try to move the horizon web mount, it's still connected to the Vanguard Obliterator auto projector. See? I'm only selecting this guy. If I select this guy, it's going to move that. So yeah, that's connected. That's perfect. Now if I flip this, oh yeah, it's working. So another thing they might have to do is like, all right, I need to cover that piece up because it's getting, it might be interfering with the other flip. So for this one, let's see, I try to eyeball this again. Probably it's too far. It's about right there. So I'm trying to judge the distance between these, like these guys. Get in the middle as close as you can. Flip it. Cancel the movement. Double click. Ah, it's not close enough. Because like, I wish you could look straight down. It's not. I know you're not looking straight. Maybe is this pretty good? Straight down. Nope. Nope. Yep, but that looks way off. Or is it? Yeah, it is a little off. Alright. So that's interesting. Oh! So that's interesting. I didn't expect that. Okay. So the left side has more room to work with. Oh, look at that. See that? Alright, flip that. Flip glitch that one and cover that spot. So what was that? Oh, right there. The whole video is going to be me trying to fine tune this. Too far. Oh, maybe it was right. It was just maybe this thing was confusing me. It's pretty good. So yeah, once that's done, then you can just move these guys in, flip glitch these guys in. Double click. There you go. Now you have those two other grids. So that's how you're able to move things in the y-axis, like space things in the y-axis. There are tons of things you can do on the y-axis. All right, so let me just show you. Like, I started a lot with a Nova Wing, but this can happen with any module. You can use this with any module that has a weapon mount. So like one thing that I thought was a great spacer was using the Deimos Wing E's. All right, so I brought in Deimos Wing E, put a weapon on it. All right, duplicate that, and then bring it in there. So it's something like this. Use the variation glitch, double click, and you see it's connected. So I use that in several of my builds. And oops. And you can just double click this, and like if you want to be consistent with this with the same spacer, just duplicate it. Just duplicate it. And there you go. You have the same spacer every single time. Now the hard part, let me see if we can do this. Didn't work last time. Let's see how far I can get, how far or how close I can get. Oh, it's snapping. Look at that. Fine. Snap. Ah, it's still working. Cool. Let's see. Can I get closer? Like I remember I wanted to do this, but I couldn't do it. Like I wanted to just close it off so it looks like one solid piece. Yeah, it's not working. So you need a little bit of a gap. There you go. So just a little bit of a gap if you want to try to use this and make it as small as you can. Let me see. Is there anything? I mean, I think one thing I did for this, like, that's fine. Leave that piece there. I think one thing that I did eventually do was take a another Deimos wing, just as an idea for the aesthetic part of it all. Take a Deimos wing, not that one. Deimos wing B. So I took Deimos wing B. All right, fine. Get in there first, and then I use the flip glitch to already occupied snapping point. Move it in. There you go. So that's how I covered it up. Okay. Oh, it's stuck. Oh, because there's a weapon mount in here too. So maybe this weapon mount, if I, yeah. Ah, look at that. So that's interesting. So it took the weapon mount. It took the weapons in here now. So I can't flip it or, yeah. So the weapon is inside the mount here. So that's something that you might want to play around with too. It's like, all right, if the weapon's going to be attached there anyway. But yeah, now I have this piece. It has 2 snapping points on each side. So you kind of created like a half piece. So you created another grid and the y-axis. So that's something. There's so many things you can think about now. Like, all right, other things you could possibly think about. Maybe it's going to be the Teo side cap with a weapon mount to it. Right? Maybe you can get something that's a little bit smaller. Let's see. Just grabbing a random. Now, let's go to Vanguard. Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors. Cover up this side. Sure. I was like, sure, let's use that piece. So maybe this piece can get even tighter. Let's find out. Hey, so yeah. So that's definitely a shorter distance compared to this guy. So more food for thought. What else we can do? So maybe it's not this piece. Maybe it's another Teo cap. Let's find out. So really tight, but you just want to create that space. Hey, so yeah, more ideas for you to play around with, but it can be any kind of weapon mount. Anything with a weapon mount. Let me see. Just play. I mean, this is more random now. Let's bring out a Deimos Spine A. Sure, Deimos Spine A. And this might be working on the x-axis or the z-axis already. So flip this right there, double click, it's connected. So yes, anything with a weapon mount. You're just creating a bridge between 2 different weapon mounts with a weapon, and that allows you to like continually add in additional modules to it. Look at that. What can you use that for? I don't know. There's more ideas. All right. So that's the y-axis. A lot of things you can play around with there. Now for the x-axis, last one, and the example I'm going to use the golden wing nut, where I had this piece, Nova Cowling, off to the back a little bit more. There's a lot of things in there that contributed to this. So yeah, this was the key part, and I hid the weapon in here. So if I understand this, if I remember this build correctly, oh, there's a lot in here. Yeah, so I shouldn't be able to flip this. Yeah, because the weapon is now inside the Nova Cowling. So yeah, let me show you what I did for the y-axis, or the z-axis. So this is really quick. I mean, basically what you're trying to do is take in, and as an example, I'll just have 2 Deimos hold A's. All right, so these pieces are currently on the grid, the primary grid. All right, maybe I should move this back. Oh no, just have all 3. All right. So what you're doing is you're just shifting. Okay, let me cover up these pieces too. All right. Now it has no place to attach to. Perfect. Oh, it's not on the grid. Let's make it. I want this on the grid first. Okay. Currently on the grid. And then what I'm doing is just shifting these modules a little bit back. So that's these two spots right here. These are weapon mounts. So I'm just trying to do this, move it a little back or move it a little front. So this is where you just have a little bit of give. I'm going to flip glitch it. Oh, I can't flip this one. Jeez, Jeremy. I can't flip this one either because I duplicated weapon. All right, fine. Put in a fresh one. Nova Cowling. All right, there you go. Fresh Nova Cowling. Bring it, move it back a little bit, flip glitch it, double click. All right, it's not the right spot. Flip glitch it. There you go. So this is about halfway back. Or wait, would you say that's 1/3? So that's 1/2. So it's a little over, so maybe 3/8. So this is 3/8 back. You can see that right there. All right, so that's how you're able to move things in the or the Z axis. So you're just kind of taking the weapon mount of a different module. And see if what happens if I like flip it this way and do it that way. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. So this is about, yeah, about 2/3. 2/3 from the front, so 1/3 back. That's pretty cool. Never tried that idea before. But yeah, then you can just work off of another grid. See. So that's on the Z axis. I think what I did for this ship, I kind of did something that's I did a half step down and then about what is this? Is that a half step back? Or no, this can only be like 2/3 back. So like this piece. So that's, I connected it there, moved half step back. Yeah. So that's the idea. So and then you can start playing around. All right, I want this one like half step down on the X axis, about halfway back on the Z axis. Right? And then I added like this guy. So I want this to be about right there. So it's connecting to something. So I want to, how did I do this one? This is where it gets a little weird. I think what I did was I put an equipment plate up here. Right? A weapon on top. And then, so this is currently on the same X axis. Oh, is it? Wait a second. How'd this piece go down though? Oh, I'm not sure what's on the grid anymore. Hold up, wait a minute. Alright. Let's just put things on the grid. On the X axis. So make sure that's currently at the right spot. Alright, there you go. And then this is currently on the X axis. Same primary X axis. And what I did was I used a duplication glitch to move it up one spot up. Oh, I need to duplicate all of this. Duplicate all of it. There you go. And then I brought it to a point where I can drop it down. And what I think I did was I removed this, move that to the correct spot, cancel the movement. Oops. No, it's not affecting. So I'm just, I eyeballed it right here. Just dropped it in place. Let's find out if this will work. I don't know if it will work. Duplicate it down. Click. Okay, didn't work. So, what I miss here? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so that was there. I duplicated this up twice. That's what I did. I duplicated it up twice. I didn't duplicate it down first. The only place to go now is up. All right. So I duplicated twice so I can clear this weapon because this is all connected right there. And then what I try to do is line up one of the mounts here. Right? Select all that, duplicate it down once. Move this guy up top. Alright. And duplicate it down twice. And I think with that, everything is connected. Yep. So that's how this was achieved in a way, but I had this piece go a half step up first. So that's how I did this in a way. So I did an x-axis build. All I wanted to do in this part was demonstrate how to move things in the y-axis. So all you're doing, once again, is taking a piece that you can kind of move forward or back off the axis. Let me see if this will work. I don't know if it's close enough. It's not close enough. Maybe that'll work. No. This is a weird piece to use for this idea. So for this piece, I think I need to do a half step up or down first before I can do something on the y-axis or the z-axis. The z-axis. So there you go. Now that should like attach. I thought it would. There it is. So yeah. Now this piece. Oh, it's not really on. It's like I didn't really move anywhere. I don't think I really moved it anywhere. That's about the same, isn't it? That's a little bit different, but it's a half step. Let me see. Let me attach it to the back weapon point now. Alright. Yeah, so that changes the grid there too. So I did a half step down the x-axis and moved it forward off the z-axis. So there's a lot of things you can play with here, guys. So anything that has a weapon mount can be bridged and move things off of the grid, off of the standard grid. Form your new grids. So I think the Deimos Wing would be a great example. If it's correctly aligned. Really? That's shocking. You're right in the middle. What? Okay, there you go. It's like it wasn't on the grid. No wonder. There it is. So yeah, so many ideas that you can I mean I could think of. I think I could play this all day. Just like let's try this, let's try that. But you have a lot of options on how to move things off a different grid, certain distances. For the x-axis, the only thing, right, for the y and z-axis, you can just move things around freely. The only thing that you can't is going to be the x-axis. X-axis, you're stuck with these steps. You always have to move in these steps. But there's a way to trick it, is by using most likely a horizon weapon mount or something else that kind of has something that's close by. Like maybe you can move things down to a different grid with this. So let's try that. Let's try that. So I'm playing around in the x-axis again. So I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm just gonna select this. Select this. It should move it. Like how far is this off the grid? So compare. Huh. Wait a second. Hold on. I'm seeing something I haven't seen. I haven't tried this idea yet. But the only problem with doing this way is that you're not completely aligned with the rest of the ship. But this is interesting because hold on. Here first. Hmm. Wow. Okay, so I'm mesmerized by this right now because this looks like a different step than I'm used to. Well, I mean, it's close to being 1/3. Oh. I was like, okay. Just bear with me for a little bit. Bear with me. Bear with me. I gotta see. I gotta see it. Here you go. Just 1 second, guys. Because I haven't tried that out before. I don't know if it'll be helpful. Because the other hurdle you need to do is try to line it up. Because like yeah, you need to figure out how to line it up. Idiot. Why did I do it this way? I need a... I need to move it in first. I need to attach it first. I don't know my own glitches. Okay. Do this again. Do this again. Bear with me. Bear with me. We'll definitely stop this video at 1 hour and 30 minutes in. Okay, where is this landing? Oh no. That's where I want you to be. Okay. Okay. Alright. Let's judge some stuff. Oh, that's not right. What the heck? I want it there. There you go. There you go. Okay, so it's a little bit higher compared to 1/3. This is about a half step down. This one's about a half step. Yeah, the only problem with that method is that you need to figure out how to attach this to something. So maybe I would do this. I would put an equipment plate. I don't know. That's the hard part. So that's on the grid. Because you're doing it drops. You're not going exactly down or up, you're going down the y-axis too. So that's the only issue you might need to deal with. So how would I, how would I move this in? I don't even know. Because like, if I do it in one spot, like it might be uneven on the other side. So let me see. It might be something like this. Dude, I don't know, man. I wouldn't even know. I don't even know where to begin. Let me see. If it, but yeah, you basically need to move it back to a certain spot on the y-axis, or maybe you just leave it like that. All right, so I'm like, maybe it's like, all right, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I want to move this piece in, but it has nothing to. Let me see. Let me see if we can do it. So you're playing around with an x-axis and y-axis change. So if I move this out here and I just say, all right, let me just connect it right here. So yeah, that's all connected. Oops. Oh. So you're eyeballing it. You're not getting it exact. And there, I was able to connect it. So that is like, I don't know, 1/8 down. I don't know. Like, it's like, I mean, it's about the same as the 1/3 that I use as a drop down or a duplication with a weapon. Like duplicating it up first, then attaching equipment weight, then duplicate it down. This one, so yeah, I mean there's a little bit of space right there on the y-axis. So there you go. Play around with ideas, everybody. Those are the main concepts of being able to move pieces off the grid in about half steps, 1/3 steps on x-axis, or move things anywhere on the y-axis or z-axis. But yeah, fractionals are cool. They've inspired a lot of different ideas. Like, I was having fun for weeks. Like, oh, what if we try this? What if we try this? So try it out, everybody. That should be take 2 of the ultimate building merge glitch snap point sharing guide. Hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you like this video, don't forget the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as everything does help out. But yeah, if you have any questions for me, everybody, just let me know. But beyond that, have yourselves an amazing day. Hopefully this inspires a lot of creative ideas. And we'll see you again real soon. Peace out. And thank you so much for all love and support. As always, without you, we just wouldn't be doing what we're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. See you again real soon, guys. Peace.